Okay, let's talk about exam season. You know what it's like. The high-stakes tests, the all-nighters, and just so much pressure. But what if I told you there was a way to get through it all that not only protects your mental health, but could actually help you do better? Well, there is, and we're about to unpack a science-backed guide to do exactly that.
I mean, this quote from a former student, Emily Alger, just hits home, right? It perfectly captures that challenge. It's this constant balancing act. You're trying to give it your all, but you're also trying not to completely fall apart in the process. It's a feeling we all get.
And this is the part that I think is so important. Looking after your well-being isn't a distraction from studying. It's the fuel for it. Seriously, protecting your energy and your headspace is probably one of the smartest study strategies you can have.
So, if we're going to tackle this, we first have to know what we're up against. Let's get really clear on what we mean by burnout, because, it's more than just feeling stressed. It's a whole other level.
So yeah, what is the difference? We use these words all the time, but they're not the same. Think of it like this. Stress is when you feel like you're in the deep end and you're treading water as fast as you can. Burnout, that's when you're so exhausted you don't even have the energy to kick your legs anymore.
So, what is it technically? Well, burnout is this total exhaustion across the board. It's when you feel completely drained, your body is tired, your mind is foggy, and emotionally, you just feel empty. It's that feeling of having absolutely nothing left in the tank.
And how does this actually show up? Well, be on the lookout for these signs, like a deep fatigue that a good night's sleep just doesn't seem to touch. Or maybe you find yourself putting things off way more than you usually would. That little voice of self-doubt gets louder and louder, and you just have this kind of negative filter on everything. If any of that sounds familiar, it's a huge signal that it's time to change things up.
Okay, enough about the problem. Let's get into the good stuff, the solutions. And the best part is, preventing burnout isn't about some massive, complicated life change. It's all about small, simple strategies that have a really big impact. And strategy number 1, the foundation for everything else, is routine. I know it sounds boring, but in the total chaos of exam season, a predictable schedule is your anchor. It just gives you a sense of control and comfort when everything else feels pretty wild. And look, this isn't just theory. As Emily said, a simple, healthy routine is a super powerful way to stay grounded. Now, that routine can even apply to how you actually study. Let's look at a really practical way to do that. All right, here is a super simple trick you can start using today. The 50-10 rule. You study, really focused, for 50 minutes. Then, and this is the important part, you take a complete 10-minute break. Get up, walk around, stare out the window, do literally anything that isn't studying. It's amazing for keeping your brain from turning to mush.
And while you're building that routine, you cannot forget the basics. These are the absolute non-negotiables. Getting your body moving, even just a short walk, boosts your mood. Eating good food, that's literally what fuels your brain. Sleep, that's when all the stuff you learned actually sticks. And seeing your friends, it's a vital reminder that there's life outside of your revision notes.
Now, this one might be the toughest to actually do, but it's one of the most powerful. You have to schedule a day or even just an afternoon where studying is completely off limits, and you can't feel guilty about it. I promise this isn't being lazy, it's strategic. You will come back to your desk feeling so much more refreshed and ready to go. Okay, now for what I think is the most fascinating part of all this. Beyond the practical tips, there's this powerful mindset shift that can totally change how you handle stress. It's kind of like a secret weapon against burnout, and it's called self-compassion.
So what on earth is self-compassion? Well, it's not about making excuses for yourself. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a friend who is struggling. It's got 3 main ingredients: being gentle with yourself instead of super critical, remembering that you're not the only person who finds this hard, and just noticing your feelings without letting them completely take over.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's backed by actual science. New research has found a direct link. The more self-compassion students have, the better their mental health is. It's a proven way to build resilience.
But how? How does this simple mindset shift make such a big difference when it comes to stress and burnout? Well, the science behind it is actually pretty cool and surprisingly simple.
So let's just look at this comparison. Normally, when you're under a ton of stress, it can be a direct path to burnout or feeling depressed. But when you add self-compassion to that equation, the whole dynamic changes. It's like you're creating a protective shield. And this image from the research shows it perfectly. Think of it like a buffer. You've got all this stress coming in from one side. But instead of it hitting you head on and leading to depression, Self-compassion steps into the middle. It's like an internal shock absorber for all that academic pressure. Pretty amazing, right?
Okay, so we've covered the day-to-day strategies and the big psychological mindset. Let's pull all of this together into a simple toolkit that you can start using, like, right now.
So here it is, your exam well-being toolkit. First, build that daily routine you can rely on. Then, when you study, use focused bursts like the 50-10 rule. Absolutely make sure you schedule a real guilt-free day off. And, maybe most importantly, practice being kind to yourself. And always remember you are not the only one going through this.
So, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. As you go into this tough time, what is one small thing you can do to show yourself a little bit of compassion? Because taking care of yourself isn't just about feeling good, it's about giving yourself the best possible shot at success.